Hey, Vinny Lips here from Off the Block, and what a wild weekend it was in college men's volleyball. Forget about that March Madness in basketball. We had some madness of our own as number 1, number 2, and number 6 all went down this weekend. So let's discuss what these upset losses mean in the bracketology. Let's start with the teams that lost this weekend. So number 1 BYU and number 2 Long Beach State both go down. Obviously, that's going to hurt them in the bracketology, but it is by nowhere a death blow for these teams. They're both still in good position to potentially get an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament if they were to falter in their conference tournament. However, that gap that they had slowly started to build up against other teams, such as Stanford, that really has dwindled now because of these losses. So it's going to be an absolute scrap and dogfight in the MPSF with about 3 weeks remaining in the regular season between Long Beach State, BYU, Stanford, and UCLA not only possibly get the MPSF regular season title, but more importantly, these teams need to get victories because they are really going toe-to-toe right now for a possible at-large bid. So, once again, if you're BYU, if you're Long Beach State, the losses hurt, but it's not a death-nail blow. The teams, though, that benefited the most from this, first and foremost, has to be Ohio State. You look at this weekend that Ohio State had. They went on the road. They got a win against Penn State. That's going to help them out in various selection committee criteria categories, including teams under NCAA tournament consideration. So we entered this week. Ohio State was trying to really lock down possibly that number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, secure and even possibly get an at-large bid if they were to lose in their conference tournament. They are moving a step closer to doing that because of their wins and the losses by teams in the MPSF. The other team that really benefits as well is UCLA. You look at the job that UCLA has done this season. They went undefeated in non-conference play. They're going to have a very strong RPI, one of the strongest strength of schedules in the nation. And you look at it right now, if it's a close record-wise between UCLA and any team for an at-large, right now, UCLA would probably get the nod over those teams. So the Bruins, they have to be absolutely ecstatic with this weekend. They were on a bye, but they benefit because of the losses. So that's kind of a look down at the MPSF right now. One big upset also to talk about this weekend as Penn State lost to St. Francis. In terms of the bracketology, no need to hit a big panic button on this loss if you're a Penn State fan. You really entered this weekend, it was going to be very difficult for Penn State to move out beyond the number 5 seed. They had really seemed to lock up that number 5 seed. This is all, of course, assuming that Penn State can win the EIVA tournament in a month. But you kind of look at it right now, I think that they're pretty much secured in that number 5 seed. Some craziness would need to happen in the conference tournaments and some upsets for them to move beyond the number 5. But for right now, Penn State is seemingly locked in that number 5 seed, and the Conference Carolinas champions is going to be the number 6. Well, that does it for our breakdown and recap of the bracketology. And for all your college men's volleyball news, you're going to want to stay right here at offtheblogblog.com.